In Trinidad's Orange Valley, life moved to the rhythm of the tide. Fishermen lived by a brotherhood, bound by salt, sweat, and survival. But in the waters they trusted most, a new threat lurked in waiting. For these men, fishing wasn't just a trade. It was a legacy, passed down through generations. Every night's voyage came with risk, but always with the promise of returning home. On the night of July 22nd, 2019, that promise was broken. Far offshore, danger closed in. A boat approached under cover of darkness. These were not fellow fishermen. They were pirates. But the pirates showed no mercy. Engines were stolen, men beaten, and in one final act of cruelty, 7 fishermen were thrown overboard. 3 men, Brian C. Mungle, Robbie Jaggernath, and Dylan Mendoza, fought the currents and survived. But for 7 others, the sea became their grave. But the killer's triumph was short-lived. Within hours, police traced the stolen engines to sea lots. The hunt for the pirates had begun. On the streets, one name rose above the rest. Dole Adams, a feared figure in sea lots, suspected of orchestrating the attack. To fishermen of the Gulf, his name meant terror. The first arrests came quickly. On July 23, 2019, police detained 27-year-old Kareem Stanislaus of Sea Lots, along with 3 others. But investigators knew these men were not the masterminds. The trail still led to Adams. For the families, arrests offered little comfort. Their wounds were too fresh, their loss too heavy to bear. Anand Rampersad, Shiva Ramdeo, Brandon and Justin Kasun, Hemraj Suknanan, Jason Baptiste, and Leslie de Billette lost their lives. But the fishermen were not the only ones caught in this war. Just days later, the violence shifted north, to the stronghold of von Sandman Myers. In the early hours of July 25, 2019, gunmen armed with high-powered rifles stormed the Myers compound. This was no robbery. It was an execution. Bullets tore through the house. Nigel Ockham is shot at the entrance. Kadir Joseph was executed while lying in a hammock. Myers was found under a bed, riddled with bullets. His wife, Alika Letty Dihir, executed while hiding in a cupboard. The attackers fled the north coast by boat, burning their trail behind them. A survivor turned up in hospital. Sources say his testimony tied the massacre of the fishermen to the assassination of Myers. 2 evils had collided. What appeared to be separate events were part of one chain. The fishermen's stolen engines were used in the escape from Las Cuevas. It was all connected. They had been caught in a war that wasn't theirs. The sea had carried their killers into a far bloodier conflict. Arrests followed. Dual Shorto Raymond was charged for the Las Cuevas murders. The masterminds remained hidden, their war still unfolding. By dawn on July 25th, von Sandman Myers was dead. But this was not the end. It was a shift in power. And at the center was Dole Adams. Myers had been the king of Las Cuevas. Adams, the rising force from Sea Lots. Once allies, their rivalry became a blood feud, fought across the waters of Trinidad. That afternoon, officers closed in on Sea Lots. They came for Adams. Police said Adams opened fire. Witnesses swore he was executed. By evening, Adams and his associate Bowles were dead. Sea Lots erupted in protest. Fires were lit. Voices raised in fury. 2 gang leaders dead within hours. 7 fishermen buried at sea. The cycle of vengeance had taken them all. And in the end, the sea, the very lifeblood of Trinidad's coast, carried the weight of their ghosts.